So, I don't know. This is kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable or we feel like it's too sensitive, I don't have to ask it. Do you feel like you should feel guilty because you have this, extra time that your brothers don't?
Oh, I've had that guilt for a long time.
But do you think you should?
I've been thinking about this recently, and the guilt has been getting more prominent the longer my career has gone. And I think earlier in my career, when like you're chasing the dream and you're trying to be successful and you're
Right.
trying to make money to
You're
get
just
yourself
grinding
comfortable
away.
to get,
Yeah.
like that's, I'm sacrificing time with my family to like follow my dream, right?
Right.
And achieve these targets that I've set myself. And like when I've achieved more than I could ever have imagined in this business. And I've reached all these like targets and goals that I've ever imagined. Really, once I won the Universal title, like that one time,
Yeah.
that for me, that was the top of the mountain. And like, I know a lot of people say, oh, what if he didn't get hurt, whatever. But that's the highest you can get.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of people say, oh, he got hurt and he relinquished the title. That's like a tragedy. But like for me, it's a success story. Like I got to the top. So once I got there, and then like I became like financially comfortable, like through the company, that's where I started to question, like, why am I doing this now? Because I'm away from all the people that I love. Like my family are at home in Ireland. I'm
Right.
here in America, like wrestling. And it's before it was a trade-off of you're not with your family, but you're following your dream. Now I'm not with my family, but I have my dream and I don't need anything else here.
Right.
I don't need any more money. I don't need any more success. I don't need any more attention. So why am I doing it?
Why are you doing it?
I don't know. Like it's
Are you driven to do it?
No, I'm driven to be in the ring and perform at the highest level every time I get in there. And I want to be in there, but I still don't know, is that worth not being with family?
I know the question.
And I know there's going to be a point in my life where I'm definitely going to regret it. But I also know that my family will be upset with me if I gave up this to be with them. They'd be like, well, what are you doing here? Like, you should be resting while you
I think
can.
they'd want you to be happy. So you need to think about what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because you bring whatever it is you're feeling, you bring that home, right? Like anybody.
Yeah.
And if what you're doing fulfills you and makes you happy, then when you are home, you're like a greater person to be around.
Yeah.
And whereas if you're unhappy and the only time you have with them, you're like, you're not your best self because you're upset for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They can feel that too. So I would think that they would want you to do what makes you happy, but that's up to you to figure out.
Like I'm with my wife in the United States, and it's the two of us. She lives her family live in Mexico City. My family live in Ireland. So we're kind of like here, like we've got our own little island, which is beautiful, and we've a great relationship. But there's certainly an aspect of like loneliness, like where we don't have a support system, and that's always the thing that I question. Like, should I be doing this job?
Finn, what if you went to
sacrificing everything
AAA, and you guys moved to Mexico and she could be with her family and you could like be a part of this now, part of WWE. That's pretty fascinating.
It's super fascinating. But again, I don't know if I want to give up WWE.
Oh.
Right? Because I want to perform at the top. I want to be on the biggest shows. I want to be on WrestleMania. I want to be on SummerSlam. I want to be on Raw. But deep down, I struggle daily with like what I'm giving up for that.
Right.
And it's not like I get so, I don't want to say jealous, but I'm so envious of the guys who have their families here in the United States.
Yeah.
And they just like fly home. On Tuesday morning after Raw, they fly home and they're with their kids and they're with their mom and they can go see their dad or whatever. Like for me and Vero, we just like come home from work, but our families are still far away.
So what's the solve on that? Like whose family would you go live near if
We don't have a solve. Well, the solve would be like 50-50. Like if once I'm done wrestling, maybe do like a couple of months in US, couple of months in Mexico, couple of months in Ireland. That would be the dream.
well, there you go.
And I realize how like blessed I am to have that opportunity to do that.
So that's a plan,
Yeah, that's a plan for sure.
right? So then you can work backwards.
Yeah. I don't want this to come across
No, no,
super
I
like
see.
depressing and sad because I
Well, I
I
think
love
your
my
fans
job.
love you, so there will be some of that, because they want you to love it, right? But here's where I think, here's what I hope.
Yep.
No matter, and the company is different than it was, but no matter how much things change, what hopefully will never change is what we do in the ring. And hopefully what will never change is the culture of the people. Because it is, and I'm going to talk about this in my speech, but it is the most loving, supportive community I think that there is. And sure, there's a lot of hate on social or whatever, but for the most part, we come from all over the world. And all different backgrounds, all different political affiliations, whatever they might be with anyone. And from Africa to, Boston, Massachusetts, like we all love this business. And I hope and pray that our culture and community never changes. And I really don't think it ever will.
I can't see it changing.
Yeah, because it is who we are.
Yeah. And I think like there's so many good role models like for me to look up to. And then now that I'm kind of like one of the older statesmen in the locker room, it's like my responsibility to like show those guys like the right way how to act and how to be like in the business, like not in the ring, but like,
Right. How to
so I
be a
feel like
professional.
we have enough good guys that can like show the next generation and the next generation. And no, I think the business itself is in a really good place. I'm just not sure where my place is
Right,
in it.
because it's got to be right for you.
Yeah,
I mean, it does.
yeah.
And that's,
And I always kind of like imagined myself going back to Japan to finish my career in
Really?
Japan. Yeah,
That's
like
fascinating.
even when I didn't want to leave Japan, but I kind of wanted to roll the dice with WWE and give it a try. And like if I had a year at NXT and then it didn't work out, I would have happily went back to Japan.
wow. What do you love about Japan?
I like how everything is just exactly as you see it. There's no bullshit. Like people are straight with you. It's yes or no answers, and everything's clean, organized. Maybe I was immune to the politics because I didn't speak the language so good. So like I was kind of like
Fair.
ignorant
Yeah,
to that
ignorant
stuff,
is
you know?
bliss, yeah.
And obviously like when you look back on any time, like romantically, you always kind of like hold that up. Like
Right, sure.
higher.
Yeah.
But
So you fell in love there.
I fell in love
At some point.
I fell in love with Japan. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't want to go back to wrestling in Japan, I don't think. I'd love to go back to Japan and spend
Right.
time there. But
Maybe it'll be one of your quarters.
maybe.
You needed a fourth.
Yeah, and when we go back with WWE, it's absolutely incredible. Like
Yeah.
to perform for WWE in Japan, that's the dream.
That would be awesome.
Maybe we can set up an NXT Japan and
Now you're talking.
yeah.
Now you're talking.
Paul might need a right-hand man to run
You
it.
might.
Yeah. Konnichiwa.
You should mention that to him.
Yeah. Me and Shinsuke, I think, would do a good
Yeah,
job
oh,
over
yeah,
there, right?
hell yeah. Oh man. That would be awesome.
Yeah. God, that would be incredible.
That would be
actually.
really cool.
Go back to my
you heard
dojo
it here
training
first.
days. Yeah. 500 squats out the gate.
There you go.
Yeah.
So tell me about that culture.
So I was 24 years old. I'd moved to my aunt's house in Boston to do like independent wrestling. And I got seen by a scout who said, "Hey, do you want to come and train with us in Los Angeles? We're affiliated with New Japan Pro Wrestling." I said, "Of course, I would love to go train." So I was training there about 2 months. And they said, "Hey, we like what you're doing. We'd like you to come and be a young boy for 3 months. And like you won't wrestle."
And did you know what that meant?
Yes, I
Oh,
was
okay,
very
great.
familiar. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you'll
Not a
train-
good surprise.
Yeah. Basically, to be a young boy in wrestling in New Japan is kind of like to be an apprentice. So your role is really to clean the dojo, to clean the house, to wash the gear of the older wrestlers, which are called senpais, like your senior wrestler, and to train. So we would wake up every morning, we would clean the dojo, clean the ring, clean the house, clean the toilets, clean outside the street. Everything was very like military precision, right?
Systematic.
Yeah. From there, we would go into the dojo. We would start with 500 squats, 200 push-ups, some rope climbs. Then we would do like blow-up drills, like burpees and skipping. And then the wrestlers would come.
Skipping.
Yeah, like jump rope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Because skipping is actually hard
It's hard.
to do.
That's I was picturing like a
Get
line
older and you
of
do it with your kids, you're like, damn, that's actually kind of a workout. I can picture you guys skipping around though.
Let's try.
So I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. So that was it. So I was kind of there to do like a 3-month like internship, like in New Japan. And after a couple of weeks of training, they said, "Oh, we'd like you to have a match." And I had my first match, and all of a sudden I'm on the shows now. But like I'm in the opening spot, and part of the culture was like, "Hey, you're not allowed to wear like any flamboyant gear. Like the young boys have to be very like kind of discreet." So
Understated,
it was like
yeah.
black boots, black tights, and I remember it was like the end of my 3-month like excursion there, and I was about to go home, and Liger, who was the booker at the time, came to me and said, "Oh, we'd like you to come back. Like, would you like to come back?" And I said, "Absolutely. Like, this is my dream." And 3 months turned into like 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. And
That's awesome.
I thought I was going to stay there my whole career.
Did you learn the language?
I never like consciously studied a book, but like I picked up a lot,
Right,
like because you're immersed in
conversational.
it. Like, yeah. So like I could like, where's the train station? Like, where's the toilet?
Yeah.
Can I get some beers? Like,
Yeah.
simple stuff. But
Necessities.
Yeah. Like I knew how to tell the taxi driver how to take me home and stuff. So yeah. And I thought I was going to stay there for my career. Then I came here. And it's weird because I always thought like England was going to be the biggest chunk of my career, doing 6 years there. And I thought like, you'll do a couple of months in Japan and then just move home to Ireland. And then all of a sudden I'd done 8 years in Japan. And I thought like when I came to NXT, well, Japan's always going to be the biggest chapter of my career. I'm going to do like a year or two in NXT
Right.
and be finished. And now I think I'm 12, 13 years here with the company. So
you never thought, I mean, you did though, right? You thought the main roster was, and becoming the champ, that was the end goal.
that's the end goal for everyone. That
Right.
starts in the
But
business.
did you
I
not
imagine.
think that it was possible?
It was so far of a stretch of reality growing up in a small town in Ireland to
Right.
be WWE champion that my goal when I started training in England was simply to have one match. That was like my target.
Do you think that that's a good life strategy when you're, approaching something that you love to do it in chunks like that and to be forward looking but not so forward looking? Or do you think it's better to have your destination, and then do every little thing you can to
Look,
get
I know there's this like belief of people like visualizing and like making your dreams reality by like picturing yourself holding the title and all. That's something I've never done.
Right. Yeah.
I've always been like, no, like, what's the next thing I have to do?
Right. You're
Like,
always
and I
looking one step ahead.
compartmentalize everything and like approach it like step by step. I've never like thought like, how do I get from A to Z? I would need to get from A to B first.
Right.
Yeah. And then figure out the rest.